Welcome back to New Venture Mentor, your source for straightforward advice to help you plan, launch, and grow your new business. I'm Kate Costa, and this week I have a special guest post for you from Accu Web Hosting about how to make sure your website doesn't get hacked. Now, I've been through the disaster of dealing with being hacked with a client of mine, and it is horrible. You have enough to deal with in your business, so you want to avoid this at all cost. Since I'm not a tech person by any stretch of the imagination, I got some expert advice for how anyone, even those of us that don't spend our spare time coding, can protect their website. Your customers are online, so your website is the face of your business. 81% of shoppers conduct online research before they make a purchase, and online participation is only going to continue to grow. If your website gets compromised by hackers, you could easily lose the trust of your customers. According to Forbes contributor James Line, on average, 30,000 new websites are identified every day distributing malicious code. And the majority of these 30,000 sites are legitimate small businesses that are unwittingly distributing that malicious code for the cyber criminals. That means you could get hacked, not realize it, and end up screwing up your customers' computers. Now, clearly, that won't put them in the buying mood, so preventing this from happening is a must. Here are 7 steps you can take. That's just one quick change per day for a week, and you'll end up with a more secure site by this time next week. Step number 1 is to change your password. Strong passwords really screw up a hacker's attack. A 10-character password with uppercase characters, lowercase characters, and a symbol has 171.3 sextillion possible combinations. That's a lot of combinations, which means most hackers will probably just move on to easier targets. Just as with most criminals of opportunity, they're looking for the path of least resistance. So if you make it even just a little bit tougher for them, you're much less likely to become a victim. On the first day of your journey to a more secure business website, just take a few minutes of your day to create a new password following the best practices guidelines for creating a secure combination. Use upper and lowercase characters, avoid words found in the dictionary, include at least one number, include at least one symbol. Remember, your password is your first line of defense against a standard hacker attack, so be sure to choose it wisely. Step number 2 is to update your CMS platform. CMS stands for Content Management System. For us non-techies, that's what you use to build your website. And if you're a novice and you're doing it yourself, there's a very good chance you're using either WordPress, like me, or Joomla. WordPress and Joomla regularly update their platforms to reflect current industry security standards. So you want to make sure that your current CMS is up to date with the latest version. Now, usually they'll alert the admins when a new version is available. So on your dashboard, you'll see that there's an update. Updating your CMS really isn't difficult. You just follow the guidelines on your dashboard and approve the update. If you're worried about losing your content, just install a backup plugin and configure it to back up your content to a secondary site. And you can just run a Google search on backup plugins to find one that meets your website needs. If this paragraph is stressing you out, don't worry, it sounds a lot worse than it is, so just Google or call your hosting company's tech support or customer service if you're confused. Step number 3 is to update all of your plugins. In addition to your CMS platform, you need to keep your plugins updated. Like your CMS providers, plugin creators release updated versions to stay on top of industry security trends and introduce new features. If you're not updating your plugins, then you're leaving vulnerabilities for hackers to exploit. Step number 4 is to update your core PC software and other applications. Now make sure that your Windows software is patched and that your computer or laptop applications are updated. All computers have operating system software. Providers like Microsoft regularly release patches to keep your system secure. Especially for the computer that you usually use to update your website, you want to ensure that your version of Windows or whatever your operating system is up to date. Common applications like Adobe Reader, QuickTime, and Windows Media Player should also be regularly updated. But most modern operating systems will have a pop-up on your screen and for when an application has an available update, and you should not ignore the pop-ups. Applications that are not regularly updated leave vulnerabilities at the client level for hackers to access your website. Step number 5 is to install security plugins on your website. Now, the peeps at Accu Web Hosting suggest installing a web application firewall, or a WAF, W-A-F, to your website. It's a software or hardware-based firewall that sits between your website server and the data connection, and it reads every bit of data passing through it. Most current WAFs are cloud-based plugins that do not require you to host the program locally on your computer. So you can simply add one to your website via security as a service provider or other supported cloud-based security plugin providers to monitor on incoming traffic and monitor potential threats. Now, out of all of the steps, this one definitely might take some more time because you've got to research the WAF providers and figure out how to install it. Now, this type of service is usually a server plugin, so you might need to work between your hosting server provider and the WAF provider to fully integrate it. Each WAF provider is a little different, so the research has to happen here for you to complete this step. You can start by contacting your website hosting provider to see if they offer this service already, and even if not, they might be able to provide a list of partners that they work with to provide the web application firewall. Again, calling your tech support and asking them how to do this is probably your best move. Step number 6 is to tighten up admin controls and set up network security protocols. Even if you're the only administrator on your website, you should set up admin protocols. Create a specific list of security measures to follow that include all of the following. Now, obviously creating strong passwords, changing the website password periodically, and the best practice is every 60 days, limiting the number of devices allowed to access your business network, creating an admin protocol in the CMS program itself to limit the number of attempted logins, and setting up logins to expire after a certain amount of inactivity. Now, for a little more activity on how to do this, you should read the full text of this post over at katecosta.com. Each business website requires different levels of security measures. However, the basics are usually sufficient for small business websites. And finally, step number 7 is to ensure that your host is doing its part. To be fully protected, you should be getting your website protection at the root by choosing a web hosting provider with a proven record of providing the cybersecurity measures that your website needs. For example, AccuWeb Hosting offers web hosting services with packages that include SSL certifications and built-in anti-spam email protection. In addition to its secure infrastructure, AccuWeb Hosting's data centers provide every level of enterprise-class physical security to protect your services. In the age of the informed consumer and the mobile customer, you cannot afford to let your website be a sitting duck for hackers. Follow these steps and investigate your options for secure web hosting and start creating a more secure environment for your business website this week. That's it for this week here on New Venture Mentor. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and sign up for my email newsletter over at katecosta.com so you'll never miss the latest tips and info to help you plan, launch, and grow your startup or small business.